Right, this is actually a mud fossil video. I've not made one for a long time, and I wouldn't probably make this one, but I have to set this record straight. Roger Spur and Age of Disclosure 5 days ago made a video when I'd already gone and told you that this video from Brian Forrester and his crew went round Egypt at a place called Tanis, and I was showing you and telling you how it was all wood in various stages of metamorphism. The majority of the site wood turned into various materials. There does appear to be some granite there, but it's from Aswan, and I've already shown you that I have serious issues with the granite from Aswan, but anyway, and I'll get to it shortly. I've just got 5 spots on this video to stop at and distance myself from them saying that these statues are giants that were encased in stone. Now, I've already destroyed the melting of stone. There's no such thing, right? But anyway, so I told you that this was actually wood, and it is wood. And if there's anybody out there that has worked with wood, this here, the reason why that's there, right, is because this statue will have fallen over. It was made from wood, and it fell over, and this part that stuck out got damaged, so they had to repair it, and they cut a block out. Yeah, well, they couldn't just cut it out in one block and stick it in. Even if they stuck it with some type of glue, it would eventually work its way free. So they cut it in 2 levels, and in fact they did a better job. Again, that's showing you how technological they were. They did it in 3 stages, and they even did it in like a locking key, like the copper, like a butterfly clip. Yeah, so it's something stays in position. So you had this level, and that level. That alone tells you 100% and confirms to me, I don't need to show you any more of this video, that this artifact was wood. Absolutely, because that's there, right? It's metamorphosed, yeah, from being underwater and be buried in the sand, and I will show you. All right. Can you see these rings here? Now, they would argue that, or some of those people would argue, that this is in fact from CNC imaging. Now, I have shown you artifacts from this period, all these sites that have been CNC imaged with technology as good and beyond our modern stuff today. But this is not the fingerprints from CNC imaging, right? Because if it was, because when something is CNC imaged this fine, and it's been in the desert and sand's been rubbing over it, right, and it's been weathered from rain, all these lines would have weathered away by now, right? You could leave this rolling around in the sand for another 20,000 years and these lines would still be here, because the tree rings. I've got an image later which will prove to you. Right, we're going to stop at 6:15 now. I don't really want to do this video, but I have to distance myself from this, because my name is being used, and not only that, Age of Disclosure, to try and persuade people of this, these things being encased in stone. He used my discovery of the Sphinx. What I said about the Sphinx, yeah, is a mud fossil, more like a mummy. The video that I made called Do You See What I See? If any of you haven't seen that video, it's a must watch. There's a little bit of speculation in it, you know, but I go and tell you when I'm speculating. Right, but either way, I have to distance myself from this. Right.
Lots of others.
This obelisk here was obviously wood. And if you go do a Google search on your own after this and type in metamorphism of wood, you will find pieces and pictures that show you wood that has changed like this. Yeah. You know, various stages where it's been buried in the ground for a bit longer or put under pressure and heated, because that's what metamorphism is, yeah, of wood. It's done from pressure and heat and petrification. It looks like wood because it is wood. And the next artifact that they were saying was a humanoid giant encased in stone. Actually looks like that. So again, it is wood. So we're going moving to 753 now. This foot is actually part of this statue, right? That's it there. So you can see the size of it. And it looks like wood, but it's just colouring, probably because it was buried around wood. Have a look there, it's concrete. Yeah. Now Roger has not got any mud fossil specimens to compare to this, so why is going out there telling all his followers that this is in fact a humanoid giant encased in stone? This is just paint. And it's another layer of concrete or some material, but look at the colour of that. It's concrete. It's a concrete site and wood. Right, the last one I will show you is at 823, and this is the one that's pissed me off. It's this that they're saying is a giant encased in stone. Well, look at it. You won't find any mud fossils specimens that look like this. Look at those eyes, it's just paint, right? But what they're saying is that these here are actually ribs that have snapped, and that this is a lung, and that's why it's lumpy. It's wood. I'm not going back on anything that I said on that earlier video. Right? It's not quite in fact, it doesn't actually look that old. But these are not ribs, are they? That's just something over it. It's part of this dressing. Can you see all these? Like that looks like some type of necklace. Yeah, that's all it is. Anyway, take a close look at this video again. It's from Brian Forrester, Lost Ancient High Technology of Egypt, Tanis and Aswan. Roger Spurs made a video on this, and Age of Disclosure, who is not part of me anymore. He used me for what he needed, and he's gone. And Flat Earth Nation has been attacking me again. He's a real butt-hurt person, and I will show you. Anyway, we'll take a look at some real mud fossils now. You know, because I just didn't want to make a video just showing you that, right? Anyway, this is in fact the first artifact at Tanis that I've just shown you, and you can clearly see that these are in fact tree rings. Yeah. Yeah, so but when you go look at Age of Disclosure channel, he's actually fallen out with Roger because he wasn't doing proper research anyway. So he's fallen out with me, and he's fallen out with Roger now that he's got about 10,000 followers. 10,000 deceived people, because all they are doing is looking at various outcrops of rock from different positions, and getting the shadows in the right place to actually make things look like faces. Right? That's all. But Roger is friends with a woman, and he has made a couple of videos on this artifact, and he's saying that it's a foot. Well, I have a serious problem with what's down here actually. You've got a top layer and then you've got a bottom layer. No foot actually does that, and it looks exactly the same as the wooden artifacts I've just been showing you. Now, I ain't going to attack it too much, I don't know for sure. I just want you to go and look at these videos Roger's putting out on this stuff, because he's got no other mud fossil artifacts that he can hold up against this and say that they are the same. So I have a big problem with that. This is getting into real mud fossil research, mud fossil artifacts, because this is actually muscle, right? And it's just crystallized. And you know, that's what muscle does, isn't it? And this is where the bone was. Okay. The reason why I said I had a problem with the site at Aswan is because I had this image in my head, and this is actually crystallized flesh, right? And you know, it's got metals in it, but it was Flat Earth Nation that attacked me when I showed this particular site. And you know, you can see shading and that in this, and it looks like body parts and pieces of bone. There's not much of that left, but it's this thing here. This is a large artifact, this, and this does look like tunica, right? And these are probably bones, right? And well, just pieces of bones, because this actually runs through the entire thing. You know, this will not just be a little diorite ball like this. You can see that it runs all the way in here, right? Almost like it's a leg bone, or, you know, something like that. This will run through all this, and it looks like flesh. I have a problem with this site at Aswan. I don't know what it is, but I mean, this looks like a jaw to me. It literally does look like a jaw. You can even see teeth there. And how it arches round, and this will be the roof of the mouth. Well, you know, like where the tongue is, and that's the roof of the mouth. And these were teeth. You know, but it's all just leached into this stuff, and it's all just turned into the same material. This artifact, I found this image myself, and it literally does look like a boot, right? You know, I mean, you can even see the heel of the shoe there, and where it's been degrading away. And all this, you know, probably all the leather boot actually degraded away eventually, and then all this is just part of the foot. Right, I mean, it looks like muscle probably, you know, because it is. It's a mud fossil, but it's massive. This thing here I've only shown once, and these do in fact look like pieces of spine from something that is absolutely enormous. I mean, look at it. It's just one vertebrae is that, and the rest of the vertebrae are up here. You can see a big mound. The rest of it will be buried, and these are human beings here. That is one of the most important images of mud fossils I have ever shown. This site I've shown many times, and it was me that put this forward as a giant. That's a piece of the hip there. These here are actually pieces of the foot. Yeah, if you go look at you know, the foot and the bones around the foot, because you know, the foot's all in pieces. Yeah, you get pieces like that, but you can clearly see that these are like a shin bone. That's a hip bone. this site here I showed once. This was in Peru and it got excavated, and these are mud fossils. I mean, you know, again, that even looks like part of the hip, doesn't it? This, clearly, I mean, these are bones, petrified bones. You know, there is a difference between petrified bones and mud fossils. I've shown you this handprint on this thing in Sacsayhuaman before, but this is an image that I found recently that's really close up to this thing, and you can see that this is clearly, without any doubt, a handprint. You know, there's the fingertips. You can see where the bone comes down. Image. These are at bottom of the fingers. I mean, it even looks like it might have even been wearing some type of glove. Yeah, that's what they are. But where it's squeezed, you know, like if you squeeze something, this is what persuaded me that this is absolutely a handprint of a giant, is because where the knuckles are, right? If you squeeze something and you've got your fingers together, it gathers up. You know, what you're squeezing will gather up to where the knuckles are, right? And form a little ridge like that, and that's exactly what you see on this. Okay. This I showed you once. I've showed you once before. I'm showing it again because I've made up my mind. It is, you know, because these are put forward as being cart ruts, and yeah, there are cart ruts out there, but you know, there's also vehicle prints. Anyway, this is in fact a mud fossil, you know, an imprint or a mud fossil of something enormous. Could, you know, it could even be a whale or anything. I mean, I'm not sure. I just know it's very high up now, and it's where it shouldn't be. But this is the spine. Yeah, these will be vertebrae. I mean, you know, they're even in sections, for God's sake. So yeah, this is a spine, and these are the ribs, and it actually comes up here, yeah, and they would arch out here, but they're since broken away. These will have been the lungs, right, and it comes out there and splays out there. You know, this is probably where the hip is. All this here will be the hip. Can't tell what it is. I'm just telling you that it's not a cart rut, it's actually an imprint. Something like this could even be the same. You know, if you dug this out, it would probably be something similar. And maybe even this one, rib caging. That's what I think these are, and that's why they're red. You know, when they get wet, the blood will oxidize out of this stuff if indeed they are mud fossils. And petrified bones or mud fossils. This is an artifact, a picture, sorry, I got yesterday, and really I should have this on a technology video. I just thought I'd throw it at you because I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but how interesting is that? This is probably a good image to show you the difference between mud fossils and petrified bones. Yeah, because this is a bone. Yeah, a mud fossil has got all the body around it, and you can't distinguish between where the bone was and the body. It all turns into one piece. This, you know, obviously the body corroded away, all got eaten, and the bone is all that was left, which then petrified. But look at the size of this thing. I've not shown you that before. This is in Australia, and you know, you can see, I don't think there's anything natural about this. You know, it looks like flesh. I mean, you know, it looks like some kind of tendon, doesn't it, really, when you look at that? You know, it looks like a snap tendon. Probably because it is. I showed you this on the Giants on Earth video, and it, you know, it just looks like the roof of a mouth. You know, if you ask somebody to open the mouth, this is exactly what you would see. And you know, you'd even get these little holes here, you know, where skin pulls and connective tissue attaches itself to the bone and various things, and you've got the roof of the mouth, and you know, you've got the hole which leads to your nose, your nostrils. This is the tongue. I mean, I think these have been put down, you know, steps, but I mean, it's even rough like a tongue. Very strange. I found this image as well while I was looking for the other one yesterday. I've made it as big as I could without making it too blurred, but this is obviously a tunnel somewhere, and wow. I don't think anybody else has seen this. You're probably the first people to see it, but any mud fossil fans out there, I can tell you now, they'll be interested in looking at this picture. That's obviously broke there. These, in fact, it has broke. So the fact that it's broken, and that these will have been the exact same dimensions as that, tells you that this is actually in fact part of a body, because the body is in two halves and they're both almost identical. It's broken away there. I think this guy is actually, you know, sat inside some type of orifice from some giant creature that's now a mud fossil. This I found last week. You've not seen before. This is something what Age of Disclosure and his crowd would love to get a hold of, because it's probably the best specimen that they would ever see. It probably is a real head. This one you will have seen before. I just threw it in at you because I found a large image, and this, you can see how large this outcrop of rock is. But what I found interesting on this one is that it almost looks like it's actually encased in a box, you know, like a giant coffin or something. But you can make your own minds up whether or not this is a head. It in fact looks like it's got an helmet on. You know, you can see the eyes and the nose and the chin, the chest, the close up there. You know, you can see all the details of the face. You know, people will argue that it's a carving. Well, if it's a carving, it's been carved by giants. You know, I just don't think you'd come up here with some technology and build some technology and just carve this in here. I just don't think you would. I think you'd have to remove all this here first. This is another artifact I've not shown you before, and it's real. It's probably about 5 times bigger than a normal human, and it almost looks like it's been caught in some type of pyroclastic flow, like the giants, the images that I was showing you on Easter Island there. This one I've shown you once before. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at, but when you look at all this, there's faces, there's stuff buried in all here. You know, you've got animals. Is this something similar to what happened at Pompeii and Easter Island? And you've got children and pieces of animals and dogs and faces all over the place. I don't really know what I'm looking at there. You can go inspect that on the Google page. This here, is this natural, or is it pieces of some type of lizard creature? That's a close-up of there, you know, I suppose. And you've got this over it. Is this just build-up, or is it some type of flesh over the muscle? Like I say, I'm no expert on mud fossil research. The videos I make on mud fossils are just looking at specimens. To me, they'll just look like, you know, look like creatures. There's only one expert, and that's Roger, but he's been making a hell of a lot of mistakes lately, and I've just pointed some serious ones out. So, you know, it's very difficult who you can trust these days. Yeah, that looks like some type of throat orifice. Strange. Yeah. This this is a massive outcrop of rock. Is this wood? Looks like it, but it also looks like petrified bone. This could have been a shoulder, something like that. It's hard to tell. All we know is that this is not where mainstream archaeology come out and tell you how basalt is formed, is it? And it shouldn't be that colour either. Yeah, so there are very, very strange rock formations on the earth, and you've got to be careful. You know, you can't stand back and look at them from various angles and hope that you can catch a shadow. You know, you can't just call everything veins and arteries, yeah, because it could in fact be trees as well, root systems. I put this in because it's almost the same colour as the stuff that I've just shown you in Tanis. Yes. If I was going to say anything, I'd say that this is actually wood. It's metamorphosized wood. That's a human being there. You can make your own mind up if this is in fact muscle and tendons, or is it wood? Because I think that's where you get a lot of sand from. Okay. Place is in Australia. This somebody, one of the subscribers told me to look this place up. It's just, this entire island is just covered with pieces like this. Roger would love to get his hands on this stuff here. Very strange place.